What's up, the squad? Back with another video. I seen the title's going down. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it in the title. Definitely, insane. From some of the interviews that I've heard already. Wanted to check this out with y'all. It's a lot, what's going on. But one thing about it, I feel like Stephen A. He definitely asked some couple good questions that I've seen. I want to watch and see this interview with y'all. We're not going to obviously watch the whole interview, but I want to check some stuff out about this because the lies, that, you have from Mayor Frey, that you have from Tim Walz, and the things that's going on is definitely unacceptable. But this interview, definitely got to check out.
I want to ask you this. You heard that sound initially when you said, get the F out of our city. You said that to ICE. Obviously, they haven't listened. How would you describe the state of affairs today at this particular moment in time right now?
Things are chaotic right now in the streets because we've had literally thousands of federal agents come into Minneapolis, and the way that this operation has been conducted, at least to this point, has not been about safety. It hasn't even been about immigration. It's about creating what seems to be a political narrative about who Minneapolis residents are and what we're about. And at the same time, I'll tell you, I am inspired by like the tens of thousands of people here in Minneapolis that are peacefully protesting on the streets. I'm inspired by the people that are dropping meals off for people that would otherwise be afraid to go outside and, standing guard, watching over a church or a daycare. Right now, Minneapolis residents are showing up for each other. And, that in and of itself is truly incredible. And so while these times are really hard, they're also momentous, and Minneapolis is meeting the magnitude of this moment.
What kind of explanation?
I feel like, honestly, like him saying that, Minnesota is coming together. I truly feel as if, because there's individuals that's in my comments, there's individuals that I see that's on X that make videos that actually live in Minnesota and stuff, and they always complain about how bad of a job that Frey and Tim Walz and the rest of the gang, are doing. And, you see a lot of posts with people that are clearly, that it'll say that they're bussed in or, this paid protest, people that's from a different, state, in different states. And even if, there's people, because I can tell you, there's some people, just like it's people here in Indiana that do the same thing, in protest. But a lot of these people that protest, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. A lot of these people that protest, because I see individuals that's on, my Instagram or my Facebook or something like that, and they'll say some stuff like, let's bring it back to like what happened with that 5-year-old child. What happened with that 5-year-old child? They tried to push this whole narrative that ICE was, baiting and they were doing this and doing that. Well, long story short, the facts were that, I'm pretty sure his dad ran away, and left him. So you literally have people that actually don't pay attention, and then they'll have this to where they'll have it'll be like this post to where, oh, ICE did this or this person did this, and then they go with that, just like they do when they go to these protests. They will literally go to these protests, y'all. They don't know anything about what's going on within politics. They don't know anything. It's just more so of these individuals having something horrible to do that's causing chaos. And there's too much going on already, but you have that on top of, the obviously people not knowing anything that's truly going on, and a little bit, because we have this hatred towards Trump, so let's go protest. But there's so many people, literally so many people that don't really know what's truly going on and don't have the facts, that they literally run to the internet or run to these protests and literally look like complete morons because they don't know what they're talking about, and they don't know what they're doing. And it's truly sad that there's a lot of individuals that are brainwashed and not even thinking about that. And it makes me mad because or you have protesters that's literally out there because of their friend or because of their family member, because they have this hatred, not even knowing what the truth is. And it makes me mad. Truly.
And have you been given, if any at all, as to why Minneapolis was chosen as the city where over 3,000 federal agents would be sent to in terms of curbing illegal immigration and what have you? What kind of explanation have you been given?
Stephen A., I don't have much of an explanation, because if you cared about focusing specifically on people that are undocumented in our country. Well, we don't have that many in Minneapolis, at least relatively speaking. If you cared about safety, well, hey, we're willing to partner on safety. In fact, we've done that in Minneapolis extensively. We've worked with the DEA and the ATF and the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office to successfully drive down crime. Shootings, for instance, on the north side right now of our city are at a record low. And so we do partner with federal agencies to drive down crime. What we won't do is partner on enforcing federal immigration law. Why? Because I don't want our police officers spending time hunting down a father who just dropped his kids off at daycare, is about to go work a 12-hour shift, who happens to be from Ecuador. I want our police officers catching murderers and investigating crime and answering 911 calls. That's the basic work of being a police officer.
What about those who look at it?
I feel like that's not like what he's saying right now is not valid reasons. Honestly, I feel like the way that things are going, and I'm gonna say this, and I know it's probably gonna have people feel some type of way, but I feel like the way that things are going, I truly feel as if there's a lot that needs to be handled when it comes to illegal aliens. I truly feel as if, obviously, you have President Trump, you have the Trump administration that says they're prioritizing, these bad individuals that are doing these things. When it comes to the individuals that's unaliving people are doing, causing, these issues when it comes to kids and this, that, and the other. Yes, truly, truly. But at the same time, you have people not looking at the simple fact that not only are they prioritizing that, they're still getting other things done when it comes down to illegal aliens and get them out, because there's just too much going on. There's too much fraud going on. There's too much crime going on top of the things that's already going on within, the United States as is. So people that I truly feel as if, this dude never takes accountability for his actions, and he sounds like I gotta watch my words. So I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. I already did.
What about those who look at it and they look at it from this perspective? They say, okay, this Minnesota is a great state. You have state and local officials that are literally defying federal law. ICE is obviously a federal agency. The president is the commander in chief. He's handed down an order, and you have individuals, law enforcement officials, government officials in the state of Minnesota, in the city of Minneapolis, who are not willing to follow federal law. Even Trump just put out some post on his Truth Social platform where he's talking about your statement about not, being cooperative is defying federal law. You see the statement right there. Mayor Jacob Frey just stated that Minneapolis does not and will not enforce federal immigration law. This is after having a very good conversation with him. Could somebody in his inner sanctum please explain that this statement is a very serious violation of law and that he is playing with fire? What do you make of the statement from the president? Do you agree or disagree with what he's saying from a lawful perspective?
So I agree that we did have a productive conversation. I disagree that we are violating federal law. Here's how it works. In Minneapolis, we're going to do our jobs, but we're not going to do somebody else's job. Our job is keeping the residents of our city safe. Our job is making sure that our police officers are responding to 911 calls. So we've only got a limited number of officers, in fact, about 600. And their time is best spent keeping people in our city safe. Now, federal agents, specifically, is best at a limited number of officers, in fact, about 600. And their time is best spent keeping people in our city safe. Now, federal agents, specifically ICE, they enforce immigration law. And by the way, this is not a policy that is unique to the city of Minneapolis. This is a policy that has been followed, even in New York City now for generations going back.
We're talking about Minnesota. This is where that accountability never takes place, never at all, with Mayor Frey. And that's what is very, very insane to me. And it bothers me because it's like, bro, it's been how long? Give that accountability and own up to what you got on, because it's truly, truly sickening on how, how they're working and what they're doing. It's truly sickening, y'all. Actually, thinking about it. He's saying, these officers are, to keep these individuals safe. They do this, they do that. He's not looking at the simple fact of what has happened. He knows. That's the thing. He knows what has happened multiple times, throughout, these past weeks of what's going on in Minnesota. And for him to go on here and say that into we want our state safe, and we want the city safe, and we want our officers to do this, and our officers, like, it's all a can of BS. See, I'm telling you, I almost slipped up again. It truly is, y'all.
Back even before Rudy Giuliani. And the reason is that when something tough happens, when a crime goes down, we want everybody to feel comfortable calling 911 without the risk that they're going to get deported for doing so. And so to have that interaction with your local government is critically important. Otherwise, we're creating people that'll just be fugitives for their whole life, that are not actually engaging with a system of safety in their respective cities. So this is not a wild policy. Again, it's not. It was even followed, by the radical leftist in Rudy Giuliani.
Define your definition, Mr. Mayor, of what a sanctuary city is, and how you feel about sanctuary cities existing in this nation.
Well, there's this terminology around sanctuary city. Put that aside for a second. I'll tell you what we've got in Minneapolis. What we have is something called a separation ordinance. And what the separation ordinance says is that we do not enforce federal immigration law. We do not have our police officers, our public officials working with any federal agency on federal enforcement of immigration law. Now, we do work with them extensively on sorting out crime, on investigating murders and homicides, on driving down a narcotics trade. What the separation ordinance also says is that our police officers, our public officials, will not ask the question as to whether a person is documented or not. Why? We want people of all backgrounds to call 911 when a crime is committed. We want people to engage with their police department and feel the trust in doing so, that they're not just going to get deported. That's actually a really important piece, not for purposes of immigration.
I feel like that's BS, though. I truly feel like that. Like, just hearing that, like, you want them to be able to trust y'all, and I truly cannot stand it. Like, how do you sit there and say, I want them to be able to trust, what we have going on. They call 911, and I want them to feel comfortable without them having to think that they're going to get deported. Bro, that just goes to show you right there that there's way too many Somalians that live in Minnesota. I feel like that statement right there, it truly it feels like it's so many individuals. So many individuals, they just don't want to say that. Because the way that he's speaking here in this interview, the way that he's spoken in the past about this, it's literally like he's not speaking for the Minnesotans. He's speaking for the Somalians. If you see what I'm saying, like, anytime he speaks, it can be about anything about Minnesota. And you can ask him, like, about Minnesota, like the people of Minnesota. And it's more so of like, oh yeah, I'm talking about the Somalians. Forget about the rest of Minnesota.
For politics, it's an important piece for safety in our city.
Talking to Mayor Jacob Frey from Minneapolis right here with Stephen A. Straight Shooter with Stephen A. I got to ask you this. When you talked about just illegal migrants in a city, people who cross the border illegally, that's what people call them. I want to ask you, how many do you believe you have in your city at this particular moment in time?
How many people that are undocumented or living in Minneapolis right now?
Undocumented.
This right here. Y'all already know. When a person sits there and they answer a question with a question, they full of shit. And when you literally do that, I told you I slip. When you literally do that, you can already tell.
How many do you believe you have in your city at this particular moment in time?
How many people that are undocumented or living in Minneapolis right now?
Undocumented. Yes. Do you have any idea?
I don't know. I couldn't. I don't really have a guess as to how many presently are here.
Because there is a shit ton. That's why. There is a lot. That's why. I'm telling y'all, bro, this is sickening.
I do know that I think that the federal administration just got it kind of wrong. Some of this is speculative, but I think that a month or two ago, somebody from pretty high up said, go to Minneapolis and arrest and deport a bunch of Somalis. And there wasn't adequate pushback on that directive. And they get here only to find out that the Somalis are here legally. They're by and large American citizens. They got here on a plane. And so, suddenly they're looking around for, what to do next. And attention got redirected towards our Latino community. I mean, here's the bottom line. If the goal is to go after murderers and rapists and people that have destabilized safety in Minneapolis, we're, of course, on board. But is the goal to go after someone who's been here for 29, 30 years?
It's not about
working
that,
as a
bro.
baker? I mean, is that the goal? Nobody has ever
baker?
come to me and say, that baker, the breads and the cakes, that's just a bridge too far. We got to get this guy out of here. I mean,
no, it does. But that's the thing. Like, regardless, when you are a legal alien, the law is the law. I don't care what anybody has to state. That literally is truly like what the law is. That's truly what the law is. It's no in between, and that's what people fail to realize. It's been happening for years. If you're literally a legal alien, that's just what it is. I don't know what the big deal is just because Trump is the president. Like, that right there is very sickening to me. And it literally makes me so mad. I got to watch more of y'all. It makes me so mad because he's talking about, oh, yeah, the baker. We just got to get that baker out of here because he's doing. It's not about that, bro. It's about the law. Yes, prioritize these individuals that are literally causing harm, that are doing completely bad, that literally has a big rap sheet of criminal record or just having criminal record. I love it. Prioritize that. But at the same time, it's still a job that they have to do and that they're doing. And I truly hate the simple fact that he's on here and he's doing this. I truly do.
Nobody said that to me. And so let's put aside, discussion about immigration and let's talk about safety. Let's talk about crime. Let's work on, that's what I would say to people. If the goal is to get murderers, the first question that you ask is not where are you from? The first question that you want to figure out is, did they commit a murder? And yeah, if that's the case, you arrest them, you prosecute them, you charge them, you put them in jail. We're all for it.
Is that what you said to President Trump?
But that's the thing. Again, this what makes me mad. They get on these platforms, y'all, and they lie. They get on the platforms and they lie. Regardless of what it is, and they lie about everything. Because I'm sure, just like Stephen A. Smith, and I haven't heard it yet. But he just asked, did you say that to Trump or something like that? And I'm sure he's going to lie about something. But you literally have him and he says something, in regards of, and I want to make sure I'm hearing this right.
The breads and the cakes, that's just a bridge discussion about immigration. And let's talk about safety. Let's talk about crime.
Make sure I hear this right.
Let's work on, that's what I would say to people. If the goal is to get murderers, the first question that you ask is not where are you from? The first question that you want to figure out is, did they commit a murder? And yeah, if that's the case, you arrest them.
But that's the thing. That's the thing with it all. Now, I heard it right. These individuals, yes, may ask that. But at the same time, the individuals that are pretty much arrested, caught, 9 times out of 10, again, illegal alien or having that criminal record. The other thing is that he's on here and he's lying and he says, oh, if they did this and they did that, then yeah, arrest them and do this and do that. But these are the same individuals, Mayor Frey and Tim Walz, that are letting these individuals out of jail. I'm telling y'all, bro. This is insane.
Prosecute them, you charge them, you put them in jail. We're all for that.
Is that what you said to President Trump?
In different words, of course. Yeah, look, I'll say we had a productive conversation.
He didn't say that.
It was a collegial conversation, and I certainly expressed that we do partner. We do partner, and we'll continue to partner. We'll deepen a partnership around getting violent criminals off our streets in Minneapolis and throughout the state of Minnesota. We have partnerships with multiple administrations, with the U.S. Attorney's Office, that have been very successful in driving down violent crime. In fact, look, in Minneapolis, crime is down. in virtually every category, in virtually every neighborhood of the city.
Why is crime? Why is crime down, y'all?
Due to partnerships that we've had with the federal government. But no, there seems to be a shift to want to bring it back to immigration and ripping these.
Why is crime down, y'all? That is the question. Why is crime down? Crime down, and the crime is still it definitely needs that that help. But a lot of this is getting handled because of the moves that President Trump is making. That's why. For them to sit here and try to take that and try to act like that's just an achievement that they're doing and they're just making any type of progress is BS. It's truly BS, and I can't stand it. I truly can't stand it. I'm telling y'all. Like Stephen A. Smith, President Trump put that surprisingly, Mayor Jacob Frey just stated that Minneapolis does not and will not enforce federal immigration laws. This is after having a very good conversation with him. Can somebody in his inner sanctum please explain that this statement is very serious violation of law and that he's playing with fire? Because the thing is that he will literally sit there and lie to your face, lie to the president's face, and then it completely changes. These are people that you definitely have to watch. Definitely have to watch. But I know for a fact, President Trump definitely got it under control. Check it out right here. Says Bill O'Reilly says it's important to remember one thing about Tim Walz is he's protecting foreign fugitives with federal warrants. I'm telling y'all. He predicts that Jacob Frey is in deep trouble and warns that if he's charged with a federal crime, all hell break loose. One thing about it, and I'm truly getting at, is that things are already going on. It's truly going on. I mean, what is it going to do just because, he gets charged with a federal crime? I mean, he's doing this. He's doing this to himself. Truly. Check it out.
These people, these foreign nationals in the Minnesota jails are fugitives. Mm-hmm. Everybody should remember that. They're fugitives. So what Walz is doing, because the jails are the subject of his office, the sheriff's, and all that, is he's protecting fugitives. It's outrageous.
Yeah, it is.
And all he has to do is tell Ellis is a lackey, far left lackey, just let ICE in and take these people because they have federal warrants out. And on a federal warrant plateau, Frey has to appear Tuesday at 9 a.m. in U.S. federal court in Minneapolis to answer a subpoena. He has to testify in front of a grand jury. And I hope that the Justice Department, a lot of people disagree with me on this, will charge him with some kind of federal crime. And he's in trouble, Frey.
Yeah.
Big trouble. Now, if they do that, all hell's going to break loose, Katie. All hell break loose in this.
One thing about it is I truly feel as if things are definitely, will happen and going to happen just based off of the simple fact that I truly feel that they want to invest. And maybe this is just how I feel. I truly feel as if they're going to investigate down. I'm talking about investigate a lot. And I truly feel as if with them doing that and them having that going on, I truly feel like something is going to, we seeing, and just, just because I say this, don't, it's just Don Lemon, but having Don Lemon arrested, having these things, and especially when it comes down to Frey, when it comes to inciting violence and, causing all of these things, I truly feel as if that President Trump ain't playing. I truly feel that way. Now, one thing about it is that this is what, we've actually, voted for, what we truly support within this. So I definitely expect them to do, what is right and set an example for these individuals that's causing, all of this chaos. One thing about it, definitely appreciate y'all. Much love, everybody. Stay tuned for the next video dropping. Catch y'all next one.